All right, everyone, this is Mrs. Calhoun, and I'm introducing our final project. So for the final project for Illustrator and for this whole class, you will be using text more heavily than we have before. And the reason I'm going to have you do this in Illustrator is because it's really good for doing some different things with text and adjusting the way a text, like for instance, a text box is laid out. And what you'll be doing is creating a poster of the sort that you might find on Illustrator or on like Pinterest a lot, and people use them on their phones, things like that. So inspirational quotes. Let me show you a few examples. These are very popular right now, and they're what I like about them is that they really emphasize certain words by the way that they use different fonts together and capitalizing and direction. The whole layout is it's just fun, and there's a lot of possibilities with it. So sometimes they have a more hand-drawn look. Sometimes they're very clean. But we will be doing a Bible verse of your choice, something brief like this. You see here, there's just a few words. Really, if you can do something between like, say, 5 and 15 words, that's ideal. I would say no more than about 15 words, because otherwise it starts to get cluttered. And the idea of this is that it's really like immediately powerful. So you'll choose something that's significant to you, and you'll notice in these designs that they have different fonts put together, kind of juxtaposed. So, okay, this is my example, and it's a sampling of the kind of thing I would like you to do. So the verse is Proverbs 4:23 down here at the bottom. Guard your heart above all else, for it is the source of life. And I chose 3 fonts that all had different, they were obviously different, but they complement one another. And I chose certain ones to do in capital letters. So you'll see really in all of these, they have the most significant words either capitalized or emphasized in some way. So like heart was a word I wanted to make stand out. So I have it at a slant here, or on Illustrator, what's called a rise. So this is one of the requirements for the assignment, that you would find a way to use this tool, the warp tool. It's under Effect, Warp, and there's all these different things you can do. Most of them will look really gimmicky and bad, so the challenge for you is to do it in a way that fits with the overall design in an elegant manner that's not, not really cheesy looking. So if you can mess with it over here on under appearance. If you don't see the appearance window, go up to window appearance. Should be really close to the top. And why don't I see it? Well, it's over here anyway. I have it up. I can take that off. That's how the text was originally, but I had put it on rise. I can change that over here and do all kinds of things, make it the opposite direction. I can adjust these things. Of course, almost everything that's too extreme looks really bad, and I didn't want any of that. So I'll cancel it to go back to the original layout I had. Another one that I did here was arc warp to affect this text to have kind of like, I almost wanted it to feel like the top of a shield or something, since it's about guarding. So you can, when I hover over it, you can see that it really has preserved the original layout. One of the strengths of Illustrator is the way you can do this. You can put an effect on text, but it doesn't, like, you can take it off again easily. So if I I can either make it go away with this little eyeball thing, or I can click on it and change it more. It's at 30% right now. I could do it more extreme or less. That would be if it was the opposite direction. You know, I don't really like these things. I think they usually look, well, that's ridiculous. Yeah. So cancel because I liked my original layout. So and then I have these little graphic elements, which a lot of the ones on here have. There's another one that's similar. Yeah. And if you look through, if you go on Pinterest, you would see a lot of these kind of things. So the assignment will be to find no more than 3 fonts, like mine has 3, but no less than 2 fonts to create your overall design. So you want it to be unified and yet have some variety. So the other thing that you'll need to do that's really central to this project is pick out your own fonts. You are not to use any of the fonts that are just default in the program. They're all terrible. And also, like, they're used all the time. So you want to go and find something more unique, and things will go well together. So I'll have the link to this on the assignment page, and I highly recommend that you use Google Fonts because all of them are free for personal use, and there's 904. That way, for this project, you can kind of get your feet wet in trying out fonts without being totally overwhelmed, because there's a lot of font programs or font websites. You can get free fonts, but you have to sift through a lot of them. So for this, I just say start with something not too overwhelming. And what I also like about it is on the side over here, you have categories. There are 5 categories, so you can search by category. And I recommend that you do like one display font. These are the ones that kind of have, well, some of them they just have different like flair to them, but they tend to be like logo type of fonts or book cover fonts that have a really unique quality to them. You can kind of tell when you look through here. They don't really fit into the category of like a plain serif font, which has the little, I'll just show you the little things on the end of the letters. I don't know I mean, those are called serifs. Or sans serif fonts. These don't have those. They're more informal and modern looking. Then there's also handwriting. Some of these are very formal. Some of them are very informal, but you get this kind of nice, fancy, often really fancy look. So pick one of the handwriting, probably, unless you totally are against that kind of thing, and a sans serif and a display, or you could do a serif, a display, and a handwriting, or some combination of these ones. Don't use the monospace. So anyway, maybe one at a time, just to keep it simple for yourself. I'm going to start with this display one. So the way that you get a font is, you want to pay close attention because it's not like getting any other kind of file. So if I wanted to go through here and looking for something that I feel like would really fit with this type of a project, I'm going to pick this. Oh, that's a very nice one. Elsie Swash Caps. Okay, I would click on that and select the font up here on the right. Now I can go here. I have these other things selected. I'll just take them off. Okay, so this is the only one. Now you can select more than one at a time, but download this selection. It will come over here as a zipped file, and I'm going to say open. They download pretty quickly. So if there's more than one in here, it's going to be because it's a font family that has 2 different thicknesses, or maybe one's italic. So what you need to do is click on install for each of those windows, or each one that you want, and it will always be on your computer after that. I'm going to install this here. What happens is that when you go back into Illustrator or Photoshop, say, I'm going to do this. This is my other kind of example one. That was called Elsie, so it should just appear when I'm in my, yep, Elsie Swash Caps. It's not exactly what I want for this, but it would work for something else. So that's how you get a font. And you need to do that for all of your fonts. None of them should be default fonts that are just in the program. Okay. Let's see, what's the next thing we need to do here? All right. The next thing to do is to create a background. So if you want to do, I have 2 extra credit options that you can do, which are to make a graphic of some sort, like maybe an icon or these kind of ornamental things that I have here. I've got some little thing at the bottom here. Like they're called swashes too. These are called swashes. To make your own, you can get extra credit for that. Or if you can find one that is free for personal use and download it, you're welcome to do that, though that also takes a while. Another option for extra credit would be to create your own graphic background that's subtle enough that this would stand out against it. If not, if you just want to go the default route, you will be choosing a photo background for your work. So the website I'd like you to do that on is Pexels, PEXELS.com, and I'll put a link to that on the assignment page too. The reason I'm going to have you do this is that, again, it's a way to just kind of limit yourself, given the amount of time we have, to not infinite choices. And these pictures are they're free stock photos for personal or commercial use. So there's a lot of them. Say if I was doing hands, I could just type in hands if I wanted something like that. You can use any photo that you see in here that you like. You can just click on it and download. So this is the kind of thing that you should do for design. Free stock photos. Don't just steal random people's photos for your work. There's websites that have these high quality photos that you can use. So things like this. So you would click on free download and then open it in Photoshop. So this one I wanted as my background. I opened it. It's not the dimensions that I want, but what you will do for this is, say I just dragged this other example over. I would need to first, I have these guides. This is the other thing you need to do. Make sure that you have guides. So under view, guides, let's see. No, go to rulers. I have them on already, but you want to show rulers, and you can drag these things over to make sure everything's aligned. So I wanted my edges to match. When you're done, you just drag them off. I'm going to drag these off so they don't mess me up. I can get them. Yeah. You'll want to make sure you'll use those kind of guides a lot when you're working. So anyway, select it all with this dragging, and then I'll make sure I can see this. There we go. That should be enough to see. Dragging it over. Okay, so this is now a Vector Smart Object layer, and I'm going to shift, click, and drag to fill this up. This is the background I used on my other one, but I'm just showing you as an example how to do it. Whoa, what just happened to it? It just went away. Sometimes weird things happen. Let's grab that again, drag it over. Okay. Oh, I don't think I placed it yet. So stay in the window until you have it where you want. I want it right there. Enter. Now it's placed. Okay. This is not done yet. So once you have what you want, then you right click on the layer down here and you go to rasterize layer. So now it can just be altered like anything else. And you'll want to crop your image to the size that you would like. Make sure that you put the actual verse. I didn't do that on this one. This is from Micah, another verse I love. Okay, double click. All right, that's the idea. So this was I'll post all this stuff for you, and good luck.